What is up, everyone? Damn it, I forgot to turn on the camera. Oh, that's on me. That's on me. Okay, hold on. Hey, I can see myself. I was so focused on trying to figure out the internet issues that, yeah. So, I'm still troubleshooting the internet issues. If there's any issues with connectivity, please let me know. It's been a mix of different things. So my ISP has definitely been messing up. And then there was a combination of settings on OBS because I'm multi-streaming. And then I also had to tune the pfSense firewall. Like, it has been a day and a half of, well, I was working, but of course, but a day and a half of troubleshooting and tinkering. Yeah. I do like this shirt. It's a nice, comfy shirt. The thing about tech vendors is they always make the comfiest shirts, and that's how I think they know that you're gonna wear them. Doing some FT8. Just got Japan on 17 meter. Nice. Yeah, I can't wait till I get my ham shack set up when I get back from Defcon. I was gonna do it before Defcon, but I sat back and I said if I get it done the week before I go to Defcon, I'm just gonna be pissed because I can't tinker with it when I just got it set up. So I'm going to do that the week I get back. I have to find some good weather to rent out a scissor lift. And then I was going to use it anyway because I need to get up high enough to chainsaw some tree limbs. Because they're getting a little too close to my power lines and my internet line. And just wanted to do some general cleanup for the yard and everything. Hope you've had a good day. It's been pretty good. Finished my last day of work before Defcon happens. Got the CISO off my butt on some priority thing he wanted to do, so he's happy with the progress I'm doing. I just have to integrate something into a Jira service account now, which they're not going to like how I have to do it because there's a limitation in CrowdStrike SOAR. Ironic that a security company doesn't allow you to integrate service accounts in the most secure way. Do you have your pfSense firewall interfere with streaming? I noticed it did with watching streams. It does to a point. So let's get into a little bit of knowledge of what happened here. So I've done some tuning so far. I don't know for sure if I'm out of the woods yet. But I did do a 3-hour test stream of my loading screen going to the green site, the purple site, and the red site all for 3 hours today. And I had 0 dropped frames. So it was a mix of OBS. The ISP had actual issues too. They acknowledged there was issues there. And then my pfSense firewall, but not necessarily the pfSense firewall per se, but more so the hardware I was running it on, and not like the CPU or memory. It was the actual network interface card. So for a little background here, I have a Supermicro super server. I forget what specific model, but basically it's an Intel Atom 8-core C3758 with 16 gigabytes of ECC memory, error correcting code. And then I have two 240 gig SSDs in Z-RAID 1 on SATA. Not that that matters. So I did a few things to optimize it a little bit. One, I dropped Suricata, was doing a lot of I/O to the SSD. So I actually created a RAM disk. It's a feature inside of pfSense I learned about to do that. So I have var and temp also in there. So it's reading and writing to there and then syncing back every hour to the disk. That'll reduce the I/O overhead on that side of things. 2, the NIC that I was using was a quad port Intel... is it 82571? Let me make sure I got that number right. Intel 82571. Yeah, it was an Intel 82571, which is a good Ethernet controller, do not get me wrong, but it's a little bit aging. Now, built into my motherboard on my super server that I got from Supermicro was a quad port Intel X553, which is the X550 series. That's a better NIC, but the reason why I wasn't using that and I installed the Intel 82571 was I completely forgot when I was running pfSense, I think it was 2.5 when I had installed it on that, it was actually not working completely with the X553 for a lot of the QoS and traffic shaping I was trying to do. It was a limitation at the time. Well, they fixed that in pfSense 2.7, 2.6. So I moved over my entire lag group. My day's going fine, by the way. Moved over the entire lag group. And for those of you not aware of what that means in networking, so I have not one, Ethernet cable going to my switch. I have 2 going from my firewall to my switch, so it's an aggregated link of 2 by 1 gigabit. So I can have 2 full 1 gigabit connections to the firewall. Why I did this? It also has a little bit of redundancy because I'm using LACP. I have the same grouping going to the pfSense firewall, and not the pfSense firewall, to the Unify switches there. So you have a 2 by 1 link. I had to move the entire lag group over to the X553, and it was the biggest pain in the butt. So what I had to do was do ring around the rosy, basically. Use one of the non-used ports. There's a total of 8 NIC ports, basically, Ethernet RJ45 ports that I had. Plug one in, set it up to be its own subnet outside of everything, plug that into my laptop, disable every interface, remake every VLAN group, put it over to the new lag group, then disabled every interface that, I wanted to move over to the X553, then re-enable everything. On top of that, I went into a bunch of pfSense system tunables. And I will say this, ChatGPT was actually really beneficial here because I asked it, some questions. And of course, I was verifying everything it was saying. I don't take anything at face value. But it led me down a decent path of, you have these tunables you need to adjust. And then I adjusted a few things in OBS as well. So I disabled look ahead on the OBS side of things for all the platforms I'm going to, which should potentially reduce some GPU overhead, but also may resolve some other issues that I had. So, yeah, it was a mix of, I think, the NIC card I was using didn't have enough queues inside of it, and I was overloading those queues. So I had to tune that, and it was just a whole kit and caboodle. Good to hear that. Do you play other games? I play a few games, quite a few. I do a variety of games. I hop in and out of Warframe, Path of Exile 2, and there's a few others that just tickle my fancy whenever I feel like playing them. But also, remember, the ISP, back to what I was saying about the network issues that I've been dealing with for weeks, the ISP also had issues where there was interference and lots of packets being dropped, uncorrectable errors, because there was signal noise coming in, because the tech prior had apparently crimped 2 ends wrong and had some shielding poking through, shorting to the connector. So, yeah, it was a mix of ISP issues, pfSense issues, OBS tuning, pfSense tuning, all to try to get to the bottom of this. Hopefully, we're at the final answer of my streaming issues that I've been having and the quality, so we should be good. What do you think about war games? Just started to learn Linux. It's really helpful. Oh, when you say war games, I think of the movie. Great movie, by the way. But yeah. Catching up on chat. What Linux distro would you recommend for an intermediate? I mean, I'm using Pop! OS, and I've been on Linux for over a decade or so. I like it. It's pretty simple, straightforward to use. It's a based on it's a fork of Ubuntu, which is a fork of Debian, and I'm more comfortable in the Debian types. But some people like Fedora, some people like Bazite. But yeah, use Arch. Of course, you'd say that, Parrot. By the way, I can't wait to meet up with you in person. We've been buddies for years. Remember, first round's on me because of the thing that happened. So I can completely understand this right now because of the dual OpenSense running right now. So I can build a whole new firewall setup. Pretty soon I'll have to do exactly what you're doing so I can move my dual 10 gigabit NIC to the new host. Yeah, it's a pain. Home labbing is a pain. But the honest truth is, this is where my networking background came in handy because I went down rabbit holes I would have never thought to go down. But then again, there's a lot to this that my network is a little bit special. So yeah, yeah, that was just a whole nightmare and a half to go through, and a lot of different issues. What a crazy mess. Sounds stressful, but stream seems pretty ready for now. Well, we'll see, because typically what'll happen is the stream will be fine at first, and then what'll happen is it'll, you know, have issues down the line. And I think what was happening was queue issues. So basically, a lot of people don't know this. Everybody thinks that, you know, your computer's so dependent on the CPU. Nobody ever thinks about your network interface card, your networking card, being a potential bottleneck, because most people don't have that issue. Basically, what'll happen is it has, just like your CPU, it's doing a bunch of processing itself. Now, there are certain things you offload to the NIC as well. And I had to disable quite a bit of that anyway for Suricata and stuff to be optimized. That reminds me, there was one other setting. Was it Suricata Hyperscan? Okay. I'm curious. Okay. EF sense. Yeah, I'll have to look into the Hyperscan side of things too. But there was a few things I had to do, like disable large frames, and a whole lot getting into it. Currently trying to learn practice electrics using the website Tinkercad, but need to learn coding. I used to use Tinkercad. Any for recommendations for websites to learn code? There is, in my links in bio, there's a company that I am affiliated with, that I tinker with, learning different coding concepts and stuff. They give you little projects to level up your code, and all of that. What the hell was it called? Code Crafters. Couldn't remember the name. The link is in bio. I just have a link in my stuff that I just go to. Code Crafters. There used to be Codecademy, but I think they changed their model entirely. Is it free or not much? I think they have a free model there. I think there is also Codecademy, but the honest truth is a lot of the resources I used to use for learning code and stuff have started adding for-profit models, and it's kind of annoying. Okay, let's see. I did do some additional, oh, there goes. Okay, so we dropped just ever so slightly. I noticed that. Did anyone see a blip on the Twitch side of things? Because I saw, like, there's a little bit of a blip. Okay. You did not. Interesting. Okay. I'm just very sensitive to frame drops. So... maybe 1 frame. Yeah. I do have a technician coming from my ISP tomorrow. The honest truth is that if these issues don't get resolved after everything I've been tinkering with, I'm probably going to end up switching ISPs. Because I looked into it, and the ISP that I use is apparently having problems with high latency spikes, and a lot of people have been reporting it for quite a while. See some lag from time to time on TikTok, but that just might be me. TikTok is always kind of weird, but you're also on a mobile device, so it's kind of hard to really diagnose that. What is a frame drop? Basically, when I am processing the stream, so I'm processing it at 60 frames per second right now. That's how it's set up. That's what they're referring to by a frame drop. So when we're talking about dropped frames, those are frames that are not getting pushed out to the stream. That's basically what it means. Follow you from many accounts. Only few get follows from multiple accounts. Thank you, Mickelson. I have Cox internet has been so bad lately. I hear the worst things about Cox. And I'm bi. That, is kind of weird. Hey, Chief, what do you think about the age estimation things that YouTube is going to be trying? I think it's bull. I think it's a bunch of bull. I don't see why they're doing this other than the UK Online Safety Act. It makes no sense to me. Like, okay, there are kids on the internet. Didn't hurt me when I was there. But the whole AI identifying thing, they're basing it based on, like, behavioral patterns. Which I think is a bunch of bull. Because... what, you use certain language, you look at certain topics, suddenly you're determined as a kid? Like, what happens if it's a parent watching, Miss Rachel or something like that for their kids? And then their account gets flagged because it's mostly going through, children's videos as, oh, they might be a kid. Your thoughts on Spotify being age restricted in the UK? I repeat my answer. It is bull. This should not be happening. The internet as we know it is starting to fracture. So Russia's already started with this, where they kind of like made their own kind of internet, kind of sort of, where they have like their own, unique stuff. South Korea does the same thing. We're getting away from the idea of the World Wide Web, and you're just going to have your nation's web. And it's being cut up into different ways. Like, we're talking about Wikipedia is going to have to block UK from certain parts, if not all of Wikipedia, because of the UK Online Safety Act. These things make absolutely no sense whatsoever. I should not and will not provide my personal information in the name of defending lazy parents. Oh, I totally agree with that sentiment. There's no reason that I should have to give my ID to verify I want to use the internet in, adult things. Look, I'm already complaining about the fact that sometimes Private Relay drops me into a state that adult content is not allowed, and, I suddenly get a splash screen of contact your state rep, and I'm like, I'm not even in your state! I talked about this in the YouTube video. If you had $1 million to open a business, you must build something, what would you do? If I had $1 million, I'd probably try to focus on making the content creation side of this thing a little bit more. But if it had to be something physically I would build, the honest truth is I would like to get to a point in my life where I have enough money to sustain myself and then can philanthropically focus on affordable homes through 3D printing. I think if you 3D printed, like there's these concrete homes, or you can even use like hempcrete or stuff like that to make affordable and sustainable homes for, the less fortunate. That I think would be something I would love to do. I don't know if there's much money in that, because I'd like to do it as a way to help people get on their feet, because, you know, what is it? What do they call it? Transient housing, something like that. People that are not in stable housing. That is one of the determiners to people being in poverty. And most people need a house to actually get a, you know, a nice foot. And I think a lot of the things that we do right now to help the homeless, it's not going far enough. They need proper homes. And say what you will, call my idea socialism, whatever. I call it being a good person. But I think that we should have a minimum sustainable safety net for everyone. I don't think anyone should ever go broke just because they get sick. And I don't think when somebody falls in the hardest of times, they should be homeless. Maybe I'm an idealist. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to fix that problem because I don't have the resources to. But it upsets me when we talk about, like, you have billionaires out here. Now, I'm not saying, like, take all their money to do it. But, like, you have, like, billionaires that, you know, literally could help a lot of the less fortunate just at least get on their feet with their amount of wealth, and it wouldn't even really make that much of a dent for them. And they choose not to. And instead they do dumb things like giant clocks that'll tick for 1,000 years like Jeff Bezos, or buy super mega yachts. Like, honestly, I've done the calculation. And if I could get to, like, I know it sounds like a big number, but it's not really in the grand scheme of things. If I could get to a personal wealth of like $10 million, I could sustain my lifestyle just off the money making money. And I don't see where I would need anything more than that. Like, if we were to do the math, all right, like let's not even like go with the like super aggressive investment strategy. Compound interest calculator. Investor.gov. So let's say I had like $10 million, adding zero money on top of it in 1 year. Let's give it an estimated money market's about 3.5% average. Even if it were to compound yearly, that'd be $350,000 a year. That'd be more than enough to live off of. That's like more than like 3 times what I'm making now. I should know. I live in Norway. Yeah, well, I wish that more people would realize that the US model is basically broken. There's no way to explain it other than we are a third world country wearing a Gucci belt. There's no way to really get around that statement. It makes no sense that we are supposedly the richest country on earth, and there's a lot of people that are still destitute. That makes no sense to me. Power to get money, but money must not give power. Yeah. But like I said, like, hell, even like... Even if I made like 5 million, if I had like 5 million, that interest right there could sustain itself. And that's at 3.5% interest rate. You just throw that in a money market account. Not saying that it all would be in a money market. It would probably be a mix of like traditional investments and things like that I could actually live off the dividends and everything. But if I can look at that and say, hey, if I made $5 or $10 million and then just had that and I could live off of it, I don't understand why people get so greedy that they're like, I need 50 million, 100 million. Or what was it? Logan Paul is like, I will quit when I make that 1B. I will make $1 billion. Apparently he's going broke. I don't understand that. At a certain point, there's like a point where you have to think like, I have more money than I know what to do with. Even Bill Gates has come to this realization of, He's got more money than he knows what to do with, and he wants to, like, give it all to charity. And apparently, I wouldn't say he's having a tough time, but it's taken him some time to dwindle the funds. I think even he said, like, what is he looking at? Like a 20-year outlook to have to spend the money or something like that? Would you choose a Chinese bank for privacy? I want you to think about what you said. A Chinese bank for privacy. Think about that. Sadly, even Norway is starting to fall. People get more greedy and want to give less taxes and give less to the less fortunate. Well, because I think a lot of people forget where they came from. But I also think my parents did a pretty good job of, you know, not shielding me from the less fortunate, but having me understand the less fortunate. Like, I remember I used to be a really spoiled kid. My mom made it an effort to be like, all right, we're going to go on a trip so you can actually be thankful for what you have. And showed me, like, true poverty. And I remember some of my friends literally, you know, growing up, I went over to hang out with them, and they had, like, no food in their cupboards and stuff like that. And I was like, Mom, friend's name, they don't have food in their house. And my mom's like, yeah, I know. Like, some people don't have, like, a full pantry like we do, you know? Like, she was, like, thinking, like, okay, you know, like, I was saying, like, there's nothing. I'm like, no. They had no food in the fridge, the cupboard, anything. And my mom went over and dropped, like, $500 in groceries for them. And just, like, stocked their fridge. Just came over unannounced. And helped them every now and then. And that's what, you know, I learned to do is, like, you give when you can. Better off with the Swiss. Yeah. The Swiss have better privacy laws if you're talking about that. If you really want privacy, Cayman Islands. Unfortunately, I ain't that rich. Yeah, I think my mom raised me right. It's very unfortunate that she went through back pain and everything, and then she got hooked on pills. But from what I understand that my aunt told me, she always had a little bit of a problem before, like in the teens and everything, with different things we're not going to get into, but my mom was a good person before she got down that path. Can I ask you something if you don't mind, dude? Well, isn't that asking me right now? You can go ahead and ask. Like, I understand if the product is free, you are the product, but this is getting bad. China does not share intelligence with US or Europe. Well, there's a lot of countries that actually don't share intelligence. I mean, like, Cayman Islands is still seen as, like, a tax shelter. Your thoughts on TikTok ban in the USA this September? No agreed deal, and Trump won't, said he won't extend it again. I think it's bull that Trump even started this whole thing of needing to have the TikTok ban in the first place. He started this whole idea. And it's going to shoot him in the foot because he came in saying, oh, I'm going to save TikTok. It's going to be a great deal and everything. The dude is failing at so many deals. Have you kept track of all the trade deals? Like, remember, oh, we're going to get 90 deals in 90 days. How many trade deals has he made? He's got concepts of a plan. He's been more focused right now trying to, you know, dodge the whole Epstein situation. But yeah. Why haven't you upgraded your channel? It means there's no decoration like a logo, banner, overlay, and VTuber. Is there a reason? Yeah, because I still haven't worked that much on the green site. I've only recently gotten it, and it's been an experiment, and I've been more focused on fixing the actual stream quality, because I was having ISP issues for a while, and then firewall issues, and then, yeah. I don't know if you missed that whole part of it. He's not doing a good, dodging the... Yeah, he's not doing a good job of it. Because, like, the funny thing is, he's acting like a guilty person would. Like, we know it. And then apparently the FBI is, from my understanding, redacting his name out of it. And there's some whistleblower coming out. Saw earlier that he's trying to get set submarines near Russia because of some crap the ex-president said or something like that. Didn't read the full story because I had enough of his stories for today. Oh, I can totally understand that, but yeah, I read something about that with the subs and everything. If you don't mind, can I show you some of my custom things? Not right now because I'm dealing with this, and this is going to be my final stream for a little over a week. Because I've got the cybersecurity conventions coming up, which, by the way, I will be announcing in the Discord and stuff, things. You'll probably see me at the B-Sides pool party. You'll probably see me at the shoot, and then, of course, Defcon. If you run into me during any of those things, unless I am hurryingly running to a talk or a training session, feel free to say hi. I won't bite, but if I am in a hurry, I will do my best to at least try to acknowledge you and try not to sound like a dick, but be like, hey, it's nice seeing you. I'm in a hurry, though. You know, like, because some of these talks from the Las Vegas Convention Center, you got to go from, like, one end of the convention center to the other. And I am booking it in some of these things. And the stream is dropping quality again. Hooray. And then it came back. I don't know. Did we have any blips over on any of the sites? Okay. How bad of a blip we talking? Okay. And we're blipping again. I'm getting really annoyed about this. And yeah. Come on, you can do it, internet. Yeah, I have a tech coming tomorrow, but if have you interest in drones? Yeah, among many others. I should have went to Defcon, but I don't know enough about it that it all that to go. LOL, looks fun. Hope to see content on it. All right, Cinti, here's my advice. If you don't know much about it, go to it and learn about it. It's like, you know, it's like the whole, like, I want you to think about this. Well, I don't really know much about Linux. How do I go learn about Linux? You use Linux. Well, I don't know much about networking. How do I learn networking? You do some networking. And trust me, Defcon is not that scary as everyone portrays it to be. Just don't do anything stupid, you know, over there. Like don't do anything you wouldn't do in a public Wi-Fi network. You know, I generally don't connect to their Wi-Fi. Yeah. Maybe like 5. Makes me tempted to offer to relay your stream for you. So I don't think the issue is anything on my network. I've done everything on my network. It is, the ISP, I think. Because I actually directly plugged this into a modem. The modem, directly. No firewall, nothing. Direct to the stream box. Was still getting a little bit of a blip. So expensive, though. Actually, Defcon's not that expensive. In terms of cybersecurity events, B-Sides and Defcon are the most affordable ones. The expense really is flight and hotel and, you know, food. That's where the real expense is. Because some of y'all don't really know how expensive some of these cybersecurity conferences can be. Like, what is it? I think RSA is several thousand. Black Hat is several thousand. Yeah, those are the expensive ones. I'd be the one like, ooh, free Wi-Fi. They do offer free Wi-Fi. So at Defcon, there's 3 wireless networks. For the past 2 months. So they have what I refer to as the Wild West Wi-Fi, which is just you connect in. There is no packet inspection whatsoever. You are on your own for security on that. Then they have 2 secured networks that you have to install their cert, which allows for SSL inspection. They have a network operations center and a security operations center that's inspecting that network. You have hackers looking for hackers. That's the network you should get on. You have to sign up and log in, put your email in there, and then it sends you a key, and then yeah. So that's what I've done on a couple times. Have you tried a generator for electricity? Yeah, in the past. Black Hat is cool if your employer pays for it. Absolutely. If your employer pays for it, sure, I'll go. But I'm not paying several $1,000s on my own. If I'm going on my own, I'm going to Defcon and B-Sides. B-Sides pool party is epic and legendary. And then there's also going to be the Defcon shoot. So if you like pew-pews, you're more than welcome to come. Anyone that is happening to be at Defcon, there will be a lane for my community. You're more than welcome to join. Bring your firearms, or you can, use someone else's if they let you use it. Most people, including myself, will be like, just throw in like a few bucks for ammo. Most people are pretty chill. Last year, someone brought a flamethrower and a howitzer. That was pretty fun. Was it a howitzer last year? No, I know the flamethrower was brought. I don't think... I kind of left a little early. But yeah. Do they have DEFCON San Diego? Because that'd be like 2-3... No, DEFCON's always in Vegas. Now, you may have a B-Sides local to you. So, B-Sides is a bunch of different events. Now, the Las Vegas B-Sides is the largest one. And that is the quote-unquote most expensive, and that's $100. Most local B-Sides are like $25-50. Now, the thing I will tell you is that B-Sides generally tend to be smaller venues, so look up when your B-Sides is, get the tickets as soon as they're announced. They usually have a list. Like, for my local B-Sides, I ordered the ticket, like, back in June, and it was only $25. Now, they may have additional trainings for, like, a couple $100, usually from the sponsor. Like, last year, they did, message tracing with Office 365 lesson, which was pretty interesting. So I got to learn how to do that manually, because normally I do it through the Proofpoint side of things. But yeah. One of my Bulgarian friends has claimed that they aren't allowed in certain countries due to things they've pulled off with hacking after seeing their response to simple things I've been doing on my network. I don't really believe them, kind of like Black Hat Stolen Valor Edition. Well, the problem is in cybersecurity is you will find people that will embellish their accomplishments in cybersecurity. Sorry. Bad cough. And they will, embellish their little stories and everything like that. And that's the unfortunate reality of every career. There's going to be professionals that are going to, puff out their chest and make themselves look more like that. Whereas I will be over here and say, like, how many times I've electrocuted myself trying to work on my home lab. I lost count. I should follow that up with, I actually used to be an electrician, so I actually do get a little bit deeper into the electrical side of things than most people should. Like, I have a direct 20 amp circuit in the back of my home lab rack that's got its own breaker and everything. And there's a grounding bus bar with 6-gauge wire for the Cat 6A shielded all the way through. And I've got 6 ground rods around the house. Overkill. Homeowner comment. Is it safe to do small hands-on projects for beginners at home, like a small breadboard project? Absolutely! And my advice would be, don't be afraid to break things and, fail at different projects. You're going to learn more from failure than you are from success. That's complete honest truth. I mean, you electrocute yourself enough times, you'll learn what not to do. Although I'm still trying to find what not to do. Look, if I had hair left, it'd probably be standing up like Uncle Fester. Well, Uncle Fester is bald too. Never mind. Did you know that Proton GE 10.005 was banned? What was it banned for? Curious about that. I want to try one, but I'm afraid that somehow I'll start a small fire, like that kind of guy. Well, here's my advice. And this is advice you should, you know, be following, regardless of what you're doing. Have a fire extinguisher near you. They're not that expensive. You can pick them up for like 30, 40 bucks. And oftentimes, you can actually take it to your fire station to get it refilled. They will do that. Check it, refill it. It's community service. You can get a small little one. Keep one in your kitchen. I keep one in my kitchen. You can keep another one by your project area. And for the love of God, don't throw water on an electrical fire, or especially a magnesium fire. Yeah, the other issue is I gave them access to my test environment so they could try to learn some. They have their website on it, but they haven't done anything. They show off all the stuff I've done in my dev environment to some of their friends, I assume as their own work. Yep. Again, you'll have people that try to take credit and, you know, just like want to be elite hacker. The problem is the idea of being a hacker is far more glamorous than the reality of it to most people. Because Hollywood has over sensationalized the idea of what a hacker actually does, that people actually think like, oh, these like hacker 1995 movie or in all these little screens, or like there are people that can actually like I really hate the fact that Hollywood has really made this myth of a hacker like so like deep to the point like, oh yeah, there's this one person that can hack all these things and, you know, he broke into the CIA. No, it doesn't work that way. Like, you think one person is going to be smarter than a whole bunch of people in the government? I know a bunch of you think, you know, a lot of government or workers aren't that smart. But you're going to tell me that one person can beat an entire collective? It's a little bit hard for me to believe. I want to, agreed. I've been failing for like 4 days with OpenShift Kubernetes user and provision install. Makes me want to grab the doorknob attached to the Neon Transformer again. Yeah, like, look. I have broken so many things, software and hardware, to get to the point of where I am. And it doesn't, you know, mean I failed. It means I've learned what not to do. And there's a lot of lessons you can get from those little mistakes. And I'm going to tell you this, to be honest. If you're like, well, I'm worried about messing up. Show me one professional in cybersecurity or IT who has gone their entire career without doing something to mess up something in the company that actually ended up, you know, affecting the whole company. The joke in our little cybersecurity department is, well, you know, nobody's going to give you recognition for all the accomplishments unless you break some things. Like, you know, like, what was it? My boss was like, you need to get more people, you know, giving you recognition badges for the work that you're doing. And I'm like, well, look, I'm not like my teammate over here that keeps breaking the network. If he sees this video, yes, I am referring to that one incident. You know that incident. But yeah, don't throw water on cooking oil fire. Oh, that's also good advice. Never throw water onto an oil fire. If you ever have an oil fire, the best thing to do is suffocate it. Well, any fire, really. If you remove oxygen from the equation, that works best. Now, most fire extinguishers, I forget what the actual chemical component is. That's basically how it works. Now, of course, when you use a fire extinguisher, it's going to make an entire area messy. I know this from when I made moonshine in the kitchen, and my kitchen caught on fire for a little bit. I did a lot of fun things in college, okay? But I saw it in a cartoon once. It has to work. How do we get past YouTube's new potential ID bullshit? Unfortunately, there's not much way to get around it without YouTube actually backing down from it. I mean, a lot of you can actually just start complaining to, YouTube and Google directly about it, and maybe, contact your local representative and stuff, but I don't know how much good that's going to do, unfortunately. Unfortunately, a lot of companies are moving towards this way because they want to reduce their liability. And what I mean by the liability, well, you have the UK Online Safety Act that's thrown a wrench in all these things. And now a bunch of people are having to consider, if they have a UK market, what do they have to do to retain that UK market? And the UK has apparently even said they're not going to block VPNs, but they're considering it. It's getting a little bit totalitarian over there. Do you like Amazon Fire Sticks? I've not really used them. For my quick and dirty streaming needs, I use Roku. I've also built my own Kodi boxes and stuff like that. I haven't gotten around to doing Jellyfin and everything. There's a few solutions out there. So we do need to update my Meshtastic. I'm gonna try to release a private key over in the Discord and Matrix servers for anyone that wants to communicate with me on the Meshtastic systems. So, hold on. Let's see how we do this. Okay, so we have the LilyGo... Not the T-Echo, the T-Deck. Okay. So, where is the flash? I'm trying to remember, where's the flash? Well, there was a web flasher. Hold on. God, it's been a while since I used this. Oh, there we go. Whee! Okay, so... Go to the web flasher. Select... Oh, right. I got to, I forgot. I have to actually use straight Chrome. Because for some reason, it works better with integrating your devices and whatnot. Okay, Meshtastic.org. You're live, Dave. Roger from back in the day. Hmm? Oh, okay. Nice to see you too. Jellyfin is honestly one of the easier ways to host a small local server. Serial over web browser is so cool. If oxygen burns and hydrogen burns, why does water put out fires? Well, dihydrogen monoxide kills. So, I remember a friend of mine in college wanted to see how dumb people were. He actually got, I think several hundred people on campus to sign a petition to ban dihydrogen monoxide. What makes Kodi not legal? There's nothing. Totally legal. Unless I'm missing something. What the hell? I gotta remember, how do I, crap. How do I set up the T-Deck? I can't remember. T-Deck flashing Meshtastic. Because I'm on 2.6.4. Okay. T-Deck switched off. Hold down trackball. Turn on T-Deck. Let go of trackball. Hey! I think that's it. Hey! You can do it! How long does a LilyGo T-Deck battery last? So it depends on the battery you install. So I have a 3000 milliampere battery in mine. Generally it'll last about 2.5 days on one charge. You may need to press the reset button if the device does not reboot automatically. Hey! Let's see, does my GUI pop back up? We went from 2.6.4 to 2.611. I had some issues, I remember, when I installed this the first time. Because the GUI, for some reason, wasn't working, and I had to do some hacky, screwy way to get this working. Are you gonna turn on? Abracadabra. Hey! That timing was perfect! Okay. So that's cool. It kept all of my original data and everything, so I didn't wipe it. Nice! What is that? What is, oh, this? This is my Meshtastic device. This is the LilyGo T-Deck. I'm going to be bringing this with me to Defcon. So what this allows for is off-the-grid communications with potential encryption. So, yeah. I can chat with people that are within range. I'd show you a list, but, you know, that gives away a little bit of information. I'll show it off more, but the range on this, I can get about 5 to 10 miles. So I will actually be... I gotta set my do not disturb because the light was flashing. I was going into the light. Stay away from the light. What's up, Darko? But yeah, this is the LilyGo T-Deck. I love these little guys. I had, when I was at Hamvention, we were chatting over them. So I'm gonna have this as well as my ham radio at Defcon. But I'm probably going to be staying around on the GMRS channels when I'm at Defcon. Unless I find a good repeater or something. Because I doubt many people are going to be doing, crap, what's it called? Hold on. You call Simplex. I just remembered as I was typing it. What do you call? I'm like, Simplex. Many people probably aren't going to be doing too much Simplex out there. Is there a way to piggyback those signals off those devices to increase communication distance? That's why it's called Meshtastic. So, if my device, and that's why I'm eventually going to have a node on the top of my house to aid in this. If my device can see another device. We both can relay messages off of each other. And then we create a mesh of communications. That's why it's called Meshtastic. And by default, it'll allow up to 3 hops. So yes, you can totally do that. In fact, that's what you're supposed to do with the Meshtastic device. So yeah, I got my Meshtastic device over here. Got my Flipper Zero. I'm not going to be bringing my vector network analyzer. I don't have my Guy Fawkes mask over here. All right, I was doing a video and I had it for comic effect. I am going to be bringing my Ray Hunter. This is to detect if there's stingrays in the area. Do you think the rest of Europe will follow the path? Will follow the U.S. with the UK scanning stuff? Oh, follow the. So the unfortunate reality, and I still have a video I need to edit about this, is Ireland has an anti-encryption law they're trying to push through. So unfortunately, the UK is not the UK. The EU has also been doing this, trying to do this for a while. What was it? The crap. There was an act they tried to push through, and it actually got enough awareness that it was very unpopular that politicians finally just dropped it. Get those rays. They killed Steve Irwin. But yeah, the unfortunate reality is the EU has been trying to do this as well for a while. So they are not unique. This is unfortunately the byproduct of the elder generation and what's seeming to be Gen X as well, as even some millennials that really don't understand technology. And the problem is they're not consulting with any of the experts that know the internet or cryptography. And the problem is this is nothing new. So for those of you that don't know, I've not been a fan of Hillary Clinton for years. This will make sense in a while. I'm not a MAGA person. Let me make that very clear. And a lot of it had to do with various things, but one of the particular ones was she was a proponent of what we called the Clipper chip. For those of you not aware, there was an encryption standard called FIPS 185. And that was a standard pushed by NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, I think it is, in the U.S., that would have allowed for escrowed key communication, essentially backdoored communication that law enforcement could ask for an escrowed encryption key whenever they want. And that's a problem. No, Darko, I don't need company right now. I mean, another time, yes, but I'm also dealing with troubleshooting some ISP issues. Like right now, my network is going derp, 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 derp. Fine, I will put the Pikachu hat on. But yeah, the government's been trying to backdoor, yeah, the stream's trying to buffer for you. Yeah, it's getting really bad right now. Come on. You can do it, technology. I think it's stabilized. Yeah, the ISP has been really messing up. So one of the first things I'm going to be doing, do you play any games? If so, what games? You should get fiber. Unfortunately, the only kind of fiber I can get in this area is shredded wheat cereal. Yeah, it was fine for the first part of the stream. So the problem is the ISP is just crap. So I'm probably going to be switching to the other ISP, which I hear is crappy too, but doesn't have the latency spikes. Because when I directly plugged in my computer here to the modem, just an Ethernet cable between them, ran this on a stream for 3 hours, I still got occasional drops. And it's so intermittent, it makes no sense. Can you get a dual pipe in? I can totally do a dual pipe. But I don't see the point in it. I don't want 2 physical lines. I want to do a cell backup, which I have. I have a T-Mobile or Mint or whoever the provider is I'm with right now. Backup. Yeah, it seems to have leveled out. I mean, we'll figure it out. Made you do a spit take. Yeah, I actually did complain to the FCC about my internet provider. It's that bad. Do you know how much it takes me to get off my lazy butt to write the government? But do you play games? Yes, I do play games. When I do, it's like Warframe, Path of Exile 2. Asmon and Eli went at it on Twitter. Oh, really? Again? I thought Asmon and Elon were already, like, doing that, and I thought, like, Elon blocked them or something like that for a while, because, like, Asmon made a, thing about, like, you know, Twitch gaming or whatever. I can't remember the specifics of it, but I remember there was an incident a while ago. Considering upgrading to Giga Internet, but I'm not sure it's worth it, to be honest. Well, it depends. See, the problem is they focus on the downstream connection with internet providers. But they never focus on the upload. I would like symmetrical bandwidth. I have a 1 gigabit connection because it gives me a 50 megabit up pipe. If I switch to another provider, I'd have to go down to a 40 megabit upload pipe and to get the and I have to get the 1 gig to get that as well. But I would much rather a 100 by 100 pipe than a 1 gig 50. Or if I can swing it, I'd like a 300 by 300 or a 500 by 500. I mostly buy the higher end internet plans to get the better upload because I'm often sending files. Over online ID laws. Really? I have issues with my Eufy Anchor floodlight camera. Well, your problem is that it's a Eufy Anchor floodlight camera. There was a lot of issues with those cameras, not only on the security side, but there was also in terms of just the quality. Just to make this very clear, they reached out to me to try to do a partnership with products, and I told them no. I will endorse your power banks and all that, but your IoT devices, until you actually fix your security issues, I don't want to touch you. So I turned down money because of principles. Just making that very clear here. Yeah, their techs have no clue. Their techs are not that savvy about things, and they just design... And I have a feeling, can't confirm this, they just OEM their products. What I mean by that is they find a manufacturer that makes the product, and then they just badge it with their stuff, and then move on and sell it. What's your answer to the people saying just use VPNs to the UK censorship? Yes, you can use VPNs to get around a geo-block, but that's ultimately not the ideal solution. The ideal solution is kick those mofos out of office. Get politically involved. The problem that people have consistently is they will roll over when government F's them in the butt. Instead of just, you know, kicking them in the butt. Get involved. Organize. Show politicians you don't want this. And if they try to give you this, well, we're doing it for your benefit. No, you don't. But the problem is the UK's also had a mentality where, you know, there's just a few things where they just seem to be laissez-faire on. And the irony is the UK, was it Tim Berners-Lee, if I recall, helped create the internet as we know it. Not the entire stack of it, mind you, but he's credited with a big chunk of what became the internet. Path to hell paved with good intentions. Absolutely. Which phone should I get? I always recommend either an iPhone or a Pixel phone with either a Graphene OS or, what's the other one? Alex. Those are my choices. I only have a Samsung for the camera. Otherwise, I hate that phone. You recommend Nokia Lumia? I haven't recommended Nokia phones for years. When Nokia had the 3310 that I literally saw break a urinal, true story, then I would recommend a Nokia. Nowadays, I don't know if I'd recommend Nokia. Microsoft kind of just crapified them. You speak out consistently, and what happened? Well, what in particular? You had the UK Online Safety Act, you have the Kids Online Safety Act here in the USA, then you had Ireland's anti-encryption law, you have the EU trying to do, what was it, their chat law, or whatever the hell it was called, where Signal actually was very vocal in trying to stop. Oh yeah, the Pixel's got a freaking great camera. My 7A is still solid for the camera. I want to get a, Pixel 10. They come out later on this month. Don't know if I'm going to swing it, because I do want to get a 5050 GPU for the Streambox over here to start doing AV1 encoding and boost the quality just a little bit. But that's for another day. How to keep up with all that news with laws and policies. I have feeds. I have feeds that feed me all that information. Like Feedly and Blue Sky. Blue Sky is pretty great because you can curate your feeds and everything like that. Like, here. I'll show you. I like Blue Sky better than Twitter. Is it as big as Twitter? No. But I think overall it's a better product. And no, not because of like the less toxic kind of thing. It's just overall a better design. So like, for example, this is my Blue Sky feed. I have so many different feeds over here. So like, look, we've got like what's popular with friends. And we've got, you know, the Discover feed, of course, you have over here. You got different feeds you can actually go into. Oh, another guy was banned from Defcon. Curious what happened there. You see what I mean? There's only been 5 people banned from Defcon? Wow. I knew about Chris, because I've been following that thing. I don't know if Blue Sky is more toxic, but the reality is that every part of the internet has its toxic spots. It's just like you go to any, like, if you go to any city in the world, okay? You're going to find your sketchy areas. Show me the nicest city, I will find you a slum or a sketchy area or something. But yeah, you can find a lot of different things. See, like, what's cooking? So you can find, like, people cooking, Cybersec, InfoSec, tons of these different feeds that you can just start following. And you just can sign up to them. Even, like, quiet posters for, like, people that, like, barely post, and when they post once in a while, you can see. We got the Linux and FOSS. And then this is one that I usually hang around often, recent news. So, you get that. There's things from my mutuals, news, world news, the Microsoft security and identity. So, like, these are, like, apparently, like, people that are officially tied to Microsoft in some way. You've got a feed just for journalists on Blue Sky. The news on Blue Sky. Cyber threat hashtags. So this is how I keep up. You have to have your resources to give you data. And I even have, like, a feed of dogs. Because if you don't know by now, I'm a dog person. I love dogs. Dogs are better than people. Just make that clear. Dogs are better than people. There's even a feed that I have over here for U.S. government officials. So, like, this is literally all the government officials that happen to be on Blue Sky. And the other cool thing, if you notice, is you can subscribe to labelers. So I can actually subscribe to a labeler. This is option that tells me who their top donors are from Open Secrets. It's not your PC. It's mine. Well, not my PC. It's my internet. Did we just become best friends? Yup. I'm waiting for the thing to level out. Come on, network. You can do it. Feels like Twitch is just being a little bit rough. That dropped completely for a second. Okay, come on. This is getting a little bit ridiculous for Twitch. How many frames I'm dropping right now. Let's see. What the hell? I don't know what happened there. Okay. I just restarted the stream. Yeah, the Twitch stream was being dumb. Okay, so... Yeah, I'm back. I just need to figure out something. Hold on. Blocks. There's no blocks. No alerts. I wonder... If I stop that... Okay, let's see. Hyperscan pfSense. Got it. And Twitch. I guess I'll have to dive into that. Well, the YouTube was also having issues for a little while. It's just YouTube can correct from things a little bit better than the Twitch side can. And it's strange because it's like the packets kind of just get bottled up. Hold on. Let's see. Something is causing the issue. I'm just curious if there's some way I can actually look up and diagnose the packets a little bit better. Logs, alerts. There's no alerts coming in. Interesting. See, it like works fine for a while. Things that make you go, Love the hat, BTW. Oh yeah, that's part of the channel points for the Twitch side of things. Okay, so... Curious why it keeps happening. But then again, I've had drops when I'm directly on the modem. Can anyone help me source a Type-C to Type-C dual 90, preferably flat cable? What do you mean a dual 90? Like 90 degrees at both ends? That's a tough one to find. If anyone maybe has it, it'd be Monoprice. That's where I get a lot of my cables. Monoprice. So here, I'll show you. Monoprice.com. They're pretty great for a lot of inexpensive cables. Yeah, adapters are probably easier, but this is where I've gone for a lot of my cables over the years. They have a great selection of cost-effective cables. Like, I bought a lot of my... Almost every cable I use in my house right now for Ethernet and everything is Monoprice. But, let's see. Data cables, video cables... Your printer cables. Could it be a data cable? You have HDMI, USB. Wow. They even got DB9s. Didn't realize you can get... Wow. They still got some older cable. Okay. That's good to know. But yeah, you can get, what is it? USB? They even have FireWire. Wow. But you can go to USB and Lightning cables over here. Yeah, they got a whole bunch of cables. Now, as far as right angles on both of them, it's going to be tough to get. You'd probably need an adapter, if anything. Because here's the problem. Have you noticed that, like, every USB-C cable has, like, this little part here? It's always, like, thick. Like, we'll take this. The reason why is... Unlike the original USB cables that you would get, there's actually a chip inside of here that talks to this thing. So you have a connector, and then there's a little PCB, and then it connects to the wire. As to compared, you know, straight USB, that it was just a physical connection. So you could actually have a little bit more adaptable with it, capability with it, but yeah. You want a backbend for an application? Yep. That might be a little bit of a tall order, so your best bet might be to get a direct adapter to get it to go C without actually having any data in there, but it's just a physical connector. I don't know if those exist. I'm just going to be honest with you. I haven't seen them. But yeah. And on that note, that's also why you'll get USB-C cables with different capabilities. It also has to do with the chip inside of it. But in terms of the wiring, for the most part, they're pretty much the same. I mean, there's some differences sometimes, but yeah. I also think that I need to get another modem, potentially. I mean, my modem's been like, what? 3-4 years old? Maybe time for me to replace the modem. I should have picked up one while I was at Micro Center. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. 3 machines from '04 for my workplace, and I'm just starting to tinker with them now. Yeah? I can understand that. It's always great to have little extra tinker boxes around. I'm curious. Let's pull up my modem stats. Alright, let's pull up the modem stats and see if I'm getting uncorrectables in there. I'm thinking about picking up an Aris S333. Oh, damn. Yep, we got ISP issues. So, I'm logged into the modem. I'll show you this. Not going to give anything away. But you see this? Corrected errors. Those can, you know, be corrected. You don't want those too high, but it's not too much of an issue. This is the issue. What's curious is I used to be getting 33 was the one giving me high errors. But now I'm getting this. Now the signal, in terms of power, that's all coming fine. This is like perfect over here. So this implies ISP issues. Yep. So it's looking more and more like I might need to switch ISPs or at least complain to them. So an OFDM is getting like 92 million errors, 89 uncorrectables. Yeah, I think it's the ISP. They're gonna have a tech come out tomorrow, which I already had planned. But yeah. Well, I hope the FCC complaint lights a fire under their butt. And adapters, they made me stand. What do the techs make of your networking setup? Often when they look at it, they like, I've often gotten people that just kind of like, the second they see my networking setup with the home the rack and everything, they start to understand that I'm not the typical user, because I hate to be that guy, and I literally tell them that. I'm like, I hate to be that guy, because I know you hear this all the time. I know what I'm talking about. And when I tell them, like, look, I'm not just some person that, like, tinkers with tech and thinks they know this stuff. I'm like, my background was in networking and in cybersecurity. And when the guy sees the network rack, you know, to check the modem, like, I've even gotten comments like, oh, you weren't bullshitting me. I'm like, yeah, this is my home network. And that's when they start taking me seriously when I say, there are problems, and it's not my home network. Because I literally, like, start talking about things where their eyes glaze over. I'm like, look, I checked the IDS IPS. I'm checking my PF sense. I changed the NIC. I've changed, you know, all this stuff. And everything on my end is looking fine. And it's annoying. So I'm wondering if there's anything newer than the Aris modems that the S34 out there. Because I don't want to just buy an S33 because I was hearing about that they had potential heat problems. Oh, for fuck's sake. And because of that blip in the internet, my chat is now missing things. Give me 1 second. I am going to be bringing back up the chat. The only reason I saw that is I saw the Twitch side of things. With the chat menu there. Okay. Let's see. Did that fix the chat menu? How long are you planning to stay live for? Maybe another hour or so. Long time sheet. What's with the hat setup? Did you transition to yellow hat? Funny. No, it's a channel point reward over on the Twitch side of things. I put on a Pikachu hat if you spend enough channel points. I should also add a channel point reward now that I've got this in. I literally bought this for that anonymous video I did to talk about how they're not, you know, really a hacker group. Should make it like 20,000 points and I'll wear an anonymous mask for like 20 minutes. Not a bad one either. But, yeah. Look, I invest in props for all of your entertainment. You should get the ones they had in Mr. Robot. What mask did they have in Mr. Robot? Well, the only reason I bought this mask was there was a YouTube video I made a while ago. Let me pull it up before I go on my modem hunt. Oh yeah, and we should watch some YouTube videos I had saved for you all. Because that was what I was supposed to do the other night, but then yeah, that happened. So there was a video I made a while ago. Hold on. It was Anonymous isn't a hacker group and they're not coming to save you. Yeah, I had this video that I put together. It was a quick little video because I got so tired of people like saying, "Where's Anonymous? When's Anonymous gonna do something?" And I'm like, they're not gonna do anything. Stop being lazy. Get off your butt. Go protest. By the way, I'm a little old to, you know, have time to go out and protest. But if I do go to a protest, I'm the guy in the back that'll be doing comms. Like, I'm the one that'll be like, Meshtastic. Oh, ham radio? We can relay emergency services. I'm not the front line kind of guy. I'm the back. I'm the logistics. I'm the comms. Protesting's hard on the knees. I'm old. I have back pain. So what's the difference between the to be fair, they destroyed themselves. The original Anonymous members were jailed. It went downhill after. Well, Anonymous has really just been a banner. I mean, originally it started with the whole 4chan thing of we are Anonymous, we are Legion, expect us, that whole thing, blah, 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 blah. So what is the difference between the S33 and the S34? If I do happen to upgrade. I is curious. It looks like they have the same specs. Yeah, they look like they have the same specs. The S34 is a mid-high split. Currently, some providers are provisioning for 200 megabits per on the mid-split. What? The S33s uses sub-splitting, which is a limit of 100 megabit per second upload that most cable companies only provision 10 to 35 megabits on sub-splitting. So glancing at the quick specs on this page, I can see the confusion why they can't read next generation uploads optimized into the... That's the main difference. That's it. Phew. Man, I remember when Motorola made modems. Then Aris bought their modems. I'm curious if I get a, how much is an, S34? Because I may have to buy one. Because I also need to rule out, is the modem having issues? And I don't think Micro Center had them. God damn. 220 bucks? That's more than double the cost of the modem I bought a couple years ago. Yeesh. Feels like these are getting more and more expensive and lower quality. Okay. I need to go grab my security key for a second, because we're going to do some Cubes OS updates and stuff. And I need my security key, because I did some updates on it, and I'm not going to be able to connect the PGP. So, BRB screen for like 2-3 minutes. You may see ads. You're not missing anything. I am back, physically. Mentally, I was never here. I've always been gone. How do you remember so much information? I don't know. I also feel like I forgot a bunch of information. Yeah. Hello, I've been using Linux Kubuntu. Oh, nice. Any particular reason you went with Kubuntu? Or you just wanted to stick with the Ubuntu and just use the KDE interface? Not judging, just curious. I used to use Xubuntu, which is Xubuntu with it's Ubuntu with XFCE. KDE Plasma for sure, although it seems pretty beginner friendly. Most of the Linuxes are pretty good beginner friendly, to be honest. In terms of like learning the concepts of different things, beginner friendly. I mean, you're ultimately going to have to force yourself to learn a lot of the concepts and stuff like that. That goes without saying. Yes, update the checksums. Options. Trying to remember my damn PGP key. Am I gonna have to reflash this? Yep. Alright, let's do that. Okay, so we're going to TPM Asia TP options OEM factory reset, erase the TPM passwords, add the new GPG, continue. So we're just gonna I can't really show this because it doesn't really, you know, do well with it. Found verified. Would you like to use the default configuration options? If no, would you like to re-encrypt and generate new disk recovery key? No, I'm fine with that. Would you like to set a single custom password that will be provisioned to previously stated components? No. No. Yes. Enter my name. Chief Geek 3D. My email address. Enter a comment to distinguish this key from others. Would you like to export your key to a USB drive? Yes, I would. Any guides you suggest for setting up CubesOS? Finding it a pain to set up Molvad. For Molvad, just follow the Molvad guide. But of course, the paradigm of using CubesOS, a lot of it comes down to just getting comfortable with it. It's not an easy thing to wrap your head around. I remember, it took me like a couple weeks at first to get used to it. And that's not counting the core boot and heads that I use on this. Yes. Scanning for USB storage devices. Checking for Librem key. OBS just completely disconnected and reconnected. What is that USB you have in your laptop? It looks like that's a lot of weight to have on the USB. I mean, maybe, but it's fine. I don't put it in that often. I wanted to try some of the KDE utilities, but beyond that, don't honestly, my biggest gripe with GNOME over KDE is I always felt that the icons and stuff feels more bloat than a list I can just read. That's why I really like CLI. I prefer CLI as well for a lot of things. Okay, so let's plug this in. I'm planning to also retire this laptop before the next Defcon, but we shall see. It may have one more Defcon in it. Yeah, the stream did crash. Okay, resetting TPM. Resetting GPG key. This will take around 3 minutes, it says. Yeah, the Twitch died again. Yeah, I know. It's, something to do with my ISP, I swear. This laptop? Where did I get this? 2020, 2021? It's not that this laptop is bad or anything. It's that I want to move on to a different vendor that's CubesOS certified. And there's a company here, I can show you while we're waiting on this. And I like this laptop. It's Purism Librem 14. It's a great laptop for what it is. But if I'm going to end up replacing this laptop, I want to get something newer. A little bit more power efficient. Because this is an Intel i7-10710U. And they still haven't released a new model from my understanding. So I'll show you. This is Purism. They make a few devices that are really interesting. They have a mini computer that I use. And that's the Librem key they use. This is the exact laptop I'm using. But if you see, they're still selling it with a 10710U. And I have it with 64 gigs of memory. It's a great laptop for what it is. I love it. Hardware kill switches for the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, as well as webcam and microphone. Core boot with, as they call, well, it's core boot, but they call it pure boot, which is core boot that they work on, and then combine it with heads, which allows for this capability with the Librem key, which is what you're seeing. And what that allows me to do is sign the boot files as well as the firmware files with a PGP key so I can check for the integrity of it. So basically, the idea is everyone has computers that we have to verify and authenticate ourselves into the machine to use it. But we never have systems that have the machine verify itself to us. So if a machine's been tampered with, how do you know? And that's why this has been called the reasonably secure laptop, as I've affectionately called it. But yeah. Now, there's another company that I came across that I really want to use. What's it called? Nova Custom. The other reason why I like this company is I can customize the laptop in any way I want. What I mean by that is, and the European companies have been doing really great with different things. So they have the V54, which is what I would look at. As you can see, Desharo core boot. I'd want the 14-inch. A full HD display is more than enough. Bear with me. I pressed the wrong key on something. But yeah, this laptop, what I would like to do is for, their stuff, I'd love to get a Ultra 7 over here, a little bit more energy efficient. I don't need a GPU. Slap it with 96 gigabytes of memory this time. And then I'd probably only need like a 500 gig SSD. You can apparently fit a second one in there. You can do personalization, like I'd put my logo on there and then put my own boot logo. Maybe put my palm rest. Firmware. Deploy core boot and heads. It's the same concept here. They give you a USB device for boot verification. And then I'd probably pay for 3 years of support for Desharo core boot to support the project. You can also do separate shipping if you want to, you know, do anti-interdiction services. And you can have it with Cube's OS out the box. Now, I'd probably have it with no OS because I like to install my own OS. Make sure it's clean and everything. Now, of course, they have different Wi-Fi options over here. So I'd probably go for this, slightly newer. And then you can, of course, adjust your keyboard settings. Super key. I'd probably put the super key or the Linux Tux key, or have them do my own logo like I did on my other laptop. And you can do different things. I'd probably get a camera slider. They also have a bus kill kit. They have some cool options in there. This is Nova Custom. Alright, so 1 second. I'm just getting my Pure Boot stuff going. OEM factory reset, continue. But yeah, Nova Custom is where I'm looking at getting my next laptop for, but it's gonna be a chunk of change. I mean, I probably could do it myself. Yes. Okay. Opinion on PinePhone or Librem 5? So, I actually have both. The honest truth is, they're fun little tinker toys. They're not devices I would generally recommend anyone go out and get, unless you're just trying to tinker with devices. Okay, for some reason it couldn't access the Librem key, so I had to remove it and reinsert it. Now, the if given the choice between the two of them, PinePhone would probably be a better choice. The Librem 5 is just way too overpriced. Although it is a great example of how US manufacturing of devices just will not make sense. So, like, what I mean by that is, let's open up the Librem 5 here. Okay? Let's go to the Buy It Now page. $799. Already a little expensive for a phone of this spec. Alright? IMX8M quad core, 3 gigabytes, you know, all that. Now, if we go to the phones, you'll notice they have this thing called the Liberty phone. It's the exact same phone with slightly more eMMC, 4 gigabytes of memory, so one whole more gigabyte. And the main thing about it is built in the USA. $800 to $1,000. So when people are like saying, oh yeah, we'll build things in America again and all that, this is the exact example of the cost differences of getting something made in China versus made in the USA. We can't make things in the USA cost effectively. That's the unfortunate reality of it. They've apparently added more stuff to their store. I'm just paying attention. A Pure OS subscription expert? What the hell is that? Is that you're paying for support? Are they... Helps maintain releases. Okay. Okay, so it's just helping them support the project. Okay. Not a big deal. Now, I will say that I do like this about Librem 5 is you can get a bunch of the different components to replace and improve it. And I have the lapdog kit over here for the phone. Interesting concept. The phone itself is just so clunky. The problem is 3-4 gigabytes of memory on a phone that is a full-fledged Linux is not enough. You need at least 8. And that is being gratuitous. Because ideally, you're going to need 16 or 32 for a good workload. I know this because I also have this guy over here, which I will be bringing to Defcon with me. My MNT Pocket Reform, which, by the way, the only complaint that I really had with this was the Wi-Fi connectivity and the SoC that originally came with it. That's no longer an issue because the SoC that I'm upgrading to is now the base standard SoC they include, the RK3588. So you now have an 8-core CPU with 16 or 32 gigabytes of memory and 128 or 256 gigs of eMMC. You can still install an NVMe, which you should do to make it a little bit faster. This is an IMX8M Plus with 8 gigabytes of memory, and I put a 500 gig NVMe in here, and a 4G cell modem. The Wi-Fi is iffy on here because the SoC has the Wi-Fi built in, and it's just iffy altogether. So when I get the RK3588, I will be adding a little PCB in there that they have as part of the upgrade package to have the Wi-Fi card in there, and that should fix it because I'll be using an AsiaTech Wi-Fi card that they offer that should fix the issues with Wi-Fi connectivity and everything else. Now, the 4G data in here, it's been working okay. It's nothing to write home about, but it's working. I bought a cheap little Mint Mobile plan just to use with this. Give it 20 gigabytes a month. That should be more than enough. Just for me to, you know, open this up at Defcon, be able to use cell data, and type away on it, and do my little notes. That's really what I'm only using this for, is my notes. That's the main reason I got this. Holy crap, the signal crapped out again. Yeah, Twitch is getting a little bit derpy. Okay, and we're back. Twitch got a little bit derpy with the signal, but apparently YouTube also gets a little bit derpy at the same time. Yeah, I like this little laptop here. Now, it's important to note, this backplate, I had custom done. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I forgot if you do the straight defaults, it sets the pin to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I am not doing that! Why do your defaults default to, like, such insecure things? OEM factory, reset, re-ownership, continue. Do the thing! Thing be thinging. No. 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 Yes. Enter the custom password. I don't like the fact that it actually displays the password in plain text, but no one should be around me when I do that, so. Yes, let's set custom user information. Insert my name. Insert the email address. Okay. Well, the light's blinking, that's a good thing. I want to support companies with SoC that is supported by the FSF. Well, here's the thing. They tried that with the IMX8M Plus, but it ended up being a bit limiting because it was a bit more open, which is why they started moving to the RK3588. So even though it has a proprietary blob, it works better. That's the unfortunate reality is we're getting away from free software compatible hardware because of this. It is what it is. Now I'm curious, is there a new firmware for the Purism Librem laptop? So they do have a new Librem EC. That's interesting. This is based on the System 76 EC. The embedded controller. That's interesting. More information on how to update. Let's see what the current firmware release is. Librem 14 ISO. Interesting. Alright. Running core boot. For running pure boot, press key to interrupt the automatic boot. This system will boot to a terminal. That's interesting. Manual steps below. Okay. Here's external power source. USB drive you can completely erase. Makes sense. Pretty straightforward. It's annoying getting all of my stuff together for Defcon. I still got to do plenty of preparation tomorrow for Defcon. I got to at least boot my other laptop up, do updates on it. And then my other laptop I got to do updates on. The hint of advice, before you go to Defcon, you should honestly have all your devices updated before you arrive there. And there's no reason to be paranoid like I've seen some people do, and I was at my first Defcon. Do you usually answer DMs on TikTok? DMs? No. The problem is, too many people message me. It's not likely to happen. The best thing is join the Discord community. Can't guarantee I'll always respond, but you'll have a community there. I do a pretty good job of responding there. And the Matrix server. Well, not as often in the Matrix server, even though I pay for that server, because, ADHD, my attention is pulled in so many different directions. And no, I don't really, allow people to DM me on Discord before you start asking that question. And a lot of the time when you're not live. Yeah, that's what the Discord community's for. Okay. So now we've just got the TPM reset to my Librem key over here. So let's generate a new HOTP secret. Generate a new one. Insert admin pin. Okay, operation success. Librem key initialized. Loading the new kernel. Okay. So now I'm curious. Okay, I had some cheap little flash drives around here somewhere. There they are. The reason why I buy these little cheap ones is sometimes I've noticed when doing BIOS stuff, the fancy flash drives with USB 3 and all that, for some reason, don't always work the way you want them to. Okay, let's open disks. All right. Blah, 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 blah. Wait, is that it? Hold on. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Restore disk image. Let's get the Librem EC update. What's the best mock location app on the Play Store, in your opinion? What do you mean, mock location? You mean, like, to get you looking like you're somewhere else? Alright, let's see. So we got this guy. Okay. So... okay, so we pulled the USBs out of there. Sorry I can't show you the screen, because, this stuff doesn't really port over well to, pure boot. Press the key to interrupt the automatic boot. Skip. Options. Boot options. USB boot. So we're going to open up this flash drive over here. And we're going to check which version I have of the embedded controller. See if I need to do an update on that. May as well. Alright. Sudo Purism EC tool. Well, if you're talking about mock location, I mean, that would be pretty much a VPN or something like that. Couldn't you use AOSP on any phone instead of Graphene? I'm not entirely sure, but Graphene has a lot of hardenings that I actually really admire. So I'm on 111. What was the firmware version they have now? Okay. As with the system, the EC development for the, okay, blah, 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 blah. This ISO is 1.13. Okay. So... Flash ec.sh. Okay. All right. Updating the embedded controller. So I know there's something to update all of this. Release all keyboard keys and wait for the process to complete. Boot the EC update again. And she's still turning on. That's a good sign. Options, boot options, USB boot. Okay, so if this worked right, we should be showing 1.13. Which then begs the question of update pure boot. Purism. Okay, so maintenance, hardware flashing, pure boot. Of course, you can always flash pure boot using the built-in menu. With development comes bugs, and flashing via the menu may not be an option if there's an issue with your custom build. Okay, yada 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 yada. Sudo EC. So let's see. It was sudo purism. I got the name wrong. EC tool. Okay, so that is running as expected. So now the next thing to do, grab, what happened to AMD's hypervisors and Intel's ME? Is that still a thing? Oh, it's absolutely still a thing. Just nobody actually pays attention to it anymore. Just weirdos like me. Okay, so we've got the firmware releases over here. Okay, so it's literally having me do a ROM over here. Okay, so disks. We're gonna flash this guy again. So we're gonna format this disk. And then we're gonna add it to a FAT32 partition. Words are hard. What's up? All right, so we're gonna mount that. Now we should be able to gotta extract these, apparently. Let's extract these two there. Now they have a SHA-256 sum. Okay, so the way we're gonna do this to verify the integrity of the file, for those of you that have not had to do this. Oh, interesting. There was packet loss on my computer over here. So once again, it was the overall network. Hooray! Okay. Where are we mounted? Where's the disks? Mounted at... Okay. CD mount Chief Geek 3D. What? Oh, media. Okay, SHA 256 some pure boot. Take that, copy. Yep, okay. We have integrity confirmed. With that, we can eject. Eject it anyway. I know it's because of the text file I had. We're going to close that. Open up disks. Okay, cool. Sure that didn't mess up. Okay. We're going to boot this. What laptop brand do you recommend more? System 76, Librem, or Framework? The Librem's a little bit dated. I have Librem. I have System 76. I prefer System 76 if given the choice out of the three. Framework is, I mean, okay. But I've been more partial to System 76 in the way they approach on different things. And, well, I'm kind of wearing a t-shirt of theirs. So... as I realize I'm saying that. Flash, update the BIOS. Flash the firmware with a new ROM, retains settings. Yep. I inserted a flash drive. Yep. Yep. Alright, we're flashing the BIOS. This can always be a nerve-wracking part. Are there any other browsers like Tor? I've been using Tor, but I want more control of the browser. Tor isn't a browser. Tor is a protocol. Now, there is the Tor browser that has Tor protocol built in, but it's really just Firefox with a Tor wrapper. That's all the Tor browser really is. So at that point, just use Firefox or Florp or or Zen browser, one of the ones based on Firefox. There's not really much other options other than Firefox and Chromium-based browsers, unless you want to be a heathen and use Safari. And Edge is basically just another Chromium browser. What about Tails? Tails is an operating system, and as I've said many times to other people, and I plan to have content on this in the near future, probably after Defcon, because I have the script written, Tails is overhyped for a lot of people. The reason I say that is most of the people that are using Tails should probably be using Unix. If you're in a situation... Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Tails is a bad thing. It's a difference of use case. LibreWolf was pretty good, more privacy-focused Firefox. I wouldn't argue that. It's a more hardened Firefox than private. But there's a few issues with out-of-the-box LibreWolf that breaks. But anyway, Tails, most people would benefit more from Unix, which is made to run in a virtual machine, which I use in my box, Cubes OS. Because the problem is, it's not really accustomed to if you're going to be using it regularly. And if you're in a situation where you're actually using Tails, and it fits the use case, you probably have bigger problems. Like when Edward Snowden was running from the government and all of that stuff. The idea of Tails is basically that you should be able to use a bunch of random computers to keep yourself anonymous, but if you're using the same computer over and over doing that, then kind of defeats the purpose. Okay. So now we've got a new BIOS. We're We're gonna generate a new HOTP secret using my Librem key. So the way the laptop works is it uses an HOTP secret on the Librem key to verify to itself, and when this flashes green, everything's kosher. Yes, it is inserted. Verifying presence of GPG card. Entering PIN for GPG card. Okay. It's signing the files. Cubes OS is booting. Alright. We're typing the password to decrypt cubes. I'm waiting for me to log in, and then I'll show you cubes logged in. We got to do some updates on it, or at least final checks for updates before we move on to the next thing. I have a question, sir. Question. All right. We are in my Cubes OS. Yes, I know my Fedora 40 is obsolete, but I don't really use Fedora 40. But we're gonna do a quick check of updates. How do you feel about Unix as a gateway as a network adapter for a Windows VM? It won't really work. Unix is designed, one, to be a Linux box to Linux box. So, like, for example, I don't know how much of my screen you can see from the TikTok side of things, but if we open up my cube manager, I think it's my cube manager. This should show me all the cubes. In this, I can use sysunix, which is the Unix gateway, to connect to any kind of device over here. That's totally fine. But is this a template? Which got you into cybersecurity and not some other part of IT? I've always been, like, security-minded on different things. I like tinkering with firewalls and the networking and locking it down and that side of things. But what really set me down the rabbit hole was back in the day, I was building, you know, GPU Bitcoin miners, back when, that tells you how long ago it was. I was using GPU-powered Bitcoin miners. And one day, my device got compromised in the little farm of a couple machines we had with my cousins, and I couldn't figure out why I wasn't making any profit, and it turned out someone had compromised the machines and changed the payment address to it. I tried to figure out how that happened, and then I started setting up a pfSense firewall to lock things down, and then kind of went from there. Here I am, almost 10 years later. Actually, it's been a little bit longer than that now. You use cubes? Yeah, I use cubes as one of my laptops to go. I've been using cubes for many years. When I used to go to clients that were severely infected with ransomware and stuff, this is the laptop that, not this specific laptop, but this is the operating system that I would use getting into those networks. I used to have like a old Dell Latitude laptop that I threw it on, got those used, and then that's what I would do, because it's a pretty secure operating system to prevent, you know, issues. Made some money off of BTC or exited early. I made money. I had a couple dozen Bitcoin actually. I sold it early in the day to get my place. And this was back in the day when Bitcoin like only was just above $1,000. And I know some people are like, what? You could have been rich and all that stuff. Well, I'm a homeowner. And I would have paid rent all this time anyway. So chances are I would have blown my money paying rent at some point because I've, you know, was in between jobs and things like that. And I've had to use my cryptocurrency. Be clear, crypto is cryptography, not cryptocurrency. But yeah, so I spent most of the cryptocurrency getting my house, getting it all situated and everything like that. And I think I'm better off for it because, even though it would have been like a lot more money, I've been a lot less stressed and things like that because I didn't have to deal with apartments. Like, my God, I sound like a boomer. I can't believe how high Bitcoin is now. No, I cannot. And what upsets me, and I'm eventually going to have this into a YouTube video, is how far cryptocurrency has come away from what its actual intentions are. It upsets me. I want you to think about this for a second. People are measuring Bitcoin's value in dollar when cryptocurrency was supposed to displace the fiat monetary system that had caused the financial collapse of 2009. And now all these people are using cryptocurrency as a way to get rich in terms of dollars. So it's now become the very thing it was in a way supposed to destroy. That's what upsets me about it. By the way, I still prefer Monero. Who are you talking to? I've been making Monero nodes for years. I have a one running over PoE in my network rack that runs over Tor, and I can actually reach back into this over Tor. In fact, that's what I actually did with this laptop. I got to do some updates for it, though. Because... hold on... I'm trying to remember how I set up the template for this, because it's been a minute. Okay, cryptocurrency Tor, Monero D, workstation. So how did I do this? Oh, so it's a flat pack. Nice. But wait, this is based off the Unix workstation. So what I should be doing is not going over here. I should be going... John McAfee, love Monero, long live McAfee. I actually met McAfee. He's another reason... So he's actually one of the points I can actually remember why I switched into cybersecurity. When I was like into networking and everything, there were 2 points that actually like led me down the path of cybersecurity. The first one, the initial kick, was the pfSense firewall and doing all that. But getting into it as a career was when I met John McAfee at the EveryKey booth at CES in 2016. I met him. I got to pick his brain. He autographed one of my laptops. Actually... did I bring it down here? Hold on. I thought I brought it down here for another video. Yeah, I did. He signed my, or one of my older Linux laptops. So you can't really see it because it kind of faded and the camera doesn't pick it up. I mean, you can kind of. So I put clear tape over it, but that's John McAfee's signature. So yeah, I met him and I whipped out my laptop and I'm like, could you sign my laptop, sir? And I picked his brain about different cryptocurrencies. He introduced me to Monero, so I actually learned about Monero. I mean, I've heard of it, but he got me really into it. And then he was talking to me about decentralized exchanges and stuff like that. I should have kept my damn Bitcoin. I used it to buy it at the gas station, LOL, little by little. Yeah, I've got a little bit, not much. More of my money is in my Roth IRA and 401k by far. But I have a little bit of cryptocurrency. I have a tradition at Defcon of using a little bit of Monero to buy things at the Monero booth at Defcon. How would you break into tech and without a cybersec degree? Well, I don't have a cybersecurity degree. So what I did is I just I worked at an MSP for a few years after, you know, starting like basic IT, like Staples, Easy Tech, stuff like that. Home labbing a shit ton in my free time, to be completely honest. Like PF Sense, as I mentioned, networking, all of that stuff, building up those skills in the MSP life. And then built up cybersecurity knowledge little by little, and then eventually I landed a cybersecurity engineering role full-time. So yeah. It's just a matter of, like, putting your nose to the grindstone. Make projects. Publicize those projects. Get out there. Get involved. Go network. Meet people. A lot of times people are like, well, I can't seem to find a job. And I'm, you know, they'll be like, well, I have all these certs and, you know, degrees and, you know, these things. And I'm like, cool. Have you gone to any in-person networking events? They'd be like, no. I'm like, that's your problem. Okay, so Unix workstation. So if I... What do you think of the legacy chain BTC SHA-256 will likely be broken with time? Yeah. Unless Bitcoin actually changes its hashing algorithm, it eventually will be taken over. Or figured out. Flatpak update. Oh. I gotta do the forbidden thing of, give myself some networking. We're gonna attach you to sysunix. Yes, I know, but you're a template I have to update. Because you don't do Flatpak updates. Yeah, because this is only doing apt updates. It's not doing Flatpak updates. So, do that. It's going to run over Tor to go grab all the Flatpak stuff. That should give me the latest Monero version, because that's the only thing I have installed with a Flatpak. Do you think McAfee is fishy? No, I think he was eccentric, but I don't think he was fishy. I actually was friends with his wife through Facebook, before, when I had a Facebook. She's nice. You know how he met his wife, right? His death was fishy. I don't think he was fishy. Honestly, I still have no idea about networking, but I really want to learn LMAO. Where'd you learn all that? PF Sense. If you install a PF Sense firewall and then just read the manual, like seriously, here, let me show you while this is updating. PF Sense documentation. So if you look up the PF Sense documentation, just like Google it, you'll realize it actually reads like a textbook. So we'll go like right here, networking concepts. You got the OSI, understanding public and private addressing space. So there you go. Reserve documentation. This will teach you a lot of the basics of what you're going to need to know. So like, look, IP subnetting concepts. Then understanding CIDR subnet notation. CIDR summarization. You know, and there's a little, you know, they show you about the network calculator and stuff like that. Broadcast domains. Then it gets into IPv6. Like, look at this. This is all just networking concepts that aren't specific to pfSense, but in the generality. The brothels? Yeah, she was a lady of the evening. No disrespect to any women that do that profession. Look, you get your bag. But yeah. So pfSense will teach you a lot of the basics that can help you get down the rabbit hole. And seriously, just build a pfSense firewall. And then just start tinkering with it. So, like, get yourself a pfSense firewall. Get yourself some access points. Get yourself some managed switches. You can go with Unify. They're a little bit expensive. There's other ones like Netgear. There's TP-Link. There's a few others out there. And you can just start tinkering. Like, go through the pfSense documentation. Read all the features in there. Try to do as many of them as you can. And I will be honest with you. You're probably going to break your internet a few times, but that's part of the learning process. You're going to learn more by what not to do than what you will do by learning from success. And believe me, I've broken my internet so many times. Just a couple nights ago, I had to move over my NIC from the 82571, that's an aging NIC, to the X553 on my Supermicro that has some more ability to handle queues and stuff like that. To improve my network quality and everything. And I had to even go through some pains over there because I learned you can't just move over an interface. You have to turn off the interface, then move it over. It's 5 a.m. Go to bed, Los Santos. Thank you for hanging out. Happy hacking. I'm waiting for Ziminero update over here. The thing I'm also curious about is, so we have the Monero flat pack in here. How did I do the Trezor? That's a question I need to figure out. Will you be at any of the furry parties next week? You know, I've never been to one. I'm not saying no. I'm not a furry. But I've always wanted to check them out. So, if anyone lets me know where FurCon is, I'll make an appearance. Love the shirt, man. System 76 is the apple of Linux where when I get rich enough, I'll own one. I have one. I have a System 76 over here. You can at least use their OS, Pop OS. I love it. What animal would you be? If I had a fursuit at this point, I guess I'd be the penguin. Ah! High five past me. I am very predictable. I do things in normal conventions. Okay, so... I always place my applications in opt or under the user's opt folder. Okay, so I just gotta grab the new app image. So let's grab a Firefox browser. Okay. Hey, look, you can see the Defcon 32 secure Wi-Fi registration. The link was here. It's probably dead now. Wait, they may have it ready for Defcon. Well, anyway, you went to this link over here. You downloaded a cert, and then you add it to your machine. And then that gave you access to the secure Wi-Fi. Now, the interesting thing is, because I was running cubes, I had to learn on the fly how to drop it into the networking cube. So I had to go to the service under sysnet and then add the cert. So I'm probably going to have to do the same thing this year. Alright, so... Trezor. I can never remember their damn suffix. Or TLD. Do you feel cybersecurity knowledge could be used to create a product or business model? If given the right knowledge to create things, yes. There's plenty of businesses around cybersecurity. Is it support? Oh, app. Hell, OBS just killed itself. OBS just committed seppuku. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyone know brief? No. I don't know that. If you're here, college student interested in cybersec. Nice. I'm just getting ready for Defcon, so I'm just updating my Cubes OS laptop over here, along with I got my little mini guy over here. This is just updating, so we can just. I got my little mini note-taking laptop here, the MNT Pocket Reform. I'm just preparing for Defcon, so I just have a bunch of updates to do on machines. Do you use FL Studio? I used to use FL Studio. When I was doing, what do you call it? I was making music with my friends. The one annoying thing with this laptop is the battery does not last long if you don't keep it charged. Okay, so we got my Stingray Hunter over here. Okay, I don't know how to turn it off, but we're just gonna do this. What's up, local IT? While I'm out there, got my ham radio upstairs. I don't think I'm gonna bring my DMR radio. You know about machine coder. I call the RK3588, which will be much faster because it's gonna have double the CPU cores, and they're all individually faster. Plus, I'm gonna be going from 8 gigabytes of RAM to either the 16 or 32 gigabyte version. Yeah. I like that little guy. So we got my Ray Hunter over here, and System 76 Pop OS. Yeah, I use Pop OS on the main box over here. But right now we're tinkering with my laptop. I can unplug that. We're tinkering with my laptop that's been at Defcon. This will be its third Defcon. Yeah, my ISP has been a turd. They have a tech coming out tomorrow, so I'm sorry for the intermittent interruptions. Yeah, Gusto, it's not you. My ISP has been crap. I'm thinking of switching ISPs when I get back from Defcon and possibly replacing my modem as well. I've been troubleshooting everything. They had line noise issues. I'm getting uncorrectable errors on the modem, all that. Yeah, it's annoying. Okay, so now... Even I need a tech. I am the tech. Okay, it's like really bad right now. The stream. Hold on. It's ISP issues. The ISP is like effing up. When I get back, I have a tech coming tomorrow. And see, look, it's just doing it again. Yeah, the ISP has definitely been having issues. Alright, so we did that. Now we need to do sudo chmod plus x Trezor suite. Exit. Alright, now cube manager. So if we... So the way Cube's OS works is you have templates, and it matriculates those updates down. So you don't update individual VMs, you update the template, and it will literally grab from that. So let's see. Oh, I think I messed that up. Yeah, I'm getting extremely high latency right now. Yeah, I'm getting extremely high latency. It's ridiculous. Let me show you this. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm fighting right now with my ISP, is these drops. And it's dropping because of, like, look at this latency. I'm getting several hundred milliseconds. So, yeah. I may have to end the stream. I should anyway. It's getting late. So, I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you all for joining. Yeah. The ISP is just... It's ridiculous. I'm getting several hundred millisecond latency for my ISP. So, thank you all for joining. I'm going to hop off. And make sure, if you haven't already, join the Discord. Follow me on all the socials. And I will see you after I get back from Defcon. So, love you all. Stay safe. Happy hacking. And if you run into me at Defcon, don't be shy. I shall see you next time.